Hey guys, so this is part two of the life and journey of a teenage mom. So, this topic of discussion for this week is going to be on how did I get here? How did I become this teenage mother? I'm going to break this down into three different segments. It's going to be pregnancy one, pregnancy two, pregnancy three. I figure I break this down so you guys can get a good understanding of each stage of my pregnancy and how they had its own purpose through this teenage journey of my life. So, pregnancy one, going through the mental and physical abuse by my mom, I was raised mostly by my grandparents. My life changed once I had to go live with my mom. So, the obviously the physical and the mental abuse continued on for years. It wasn't until she got caught up into the drugs to where I wouldn't say the abuse stopped, but it wasn't as impactful as it was prior to the drugs. So I was spending a lot of time between home, my grandparents, and friends and family that lived in the development at that time. My mom had a lot going on. She had pretty much people coming in and out. So at times I didn't feel safe. So, and then also there was never any food in the house. So the survival of my life at this time was real, and it was just for a 14-year-old little girl to be going through this. It was rough. So I found myself at my grandparents more and more, but which wasn't a problem because there was this boy that I really admired. I really loved this boy. I don't know if it was truly love because I was 14 at the time, but it truly felt like it. It really did feel like it was love. And he was a lot older than me. He was like 3 years older than me, but I didn't care. I really liked this boy. I wanted him to like me. So I would do things to try to gain his attention because I wanted him to like me. I remember times him playing basketball with my brother and stuff like that. And so I'm out there making every point to be out there to see him so he can notice me because I was hoping that, he may feel the same way. Well, I my brother must have told him that I liked him, so he started coming over, seeing me. I started sneaking out of my grandparents, seeing him, and whatever have you. So the one weekend I went to my mom's, and he ended up driving up to see me. Now, don't think that I was pressured into having sex because I wasn't. This is something that I chose to do in all intentions because I wanted this boy to really like me. I really liked him, and I thought that sex would be a way for him to like me. He was 3 years older, so I know he was a little bit more experienced than me. My first time was not the best. It was definitely not what I expected. It hurt like hell, and I cried the whole time. it it definitely was the immaturity on my part, and with all that going on, the condom broke. So now here I am in this situation. I didn't plan to get pregnant. I You figure now here 9 months later, here comes this baby, and I didn't plan for it. No, I didn't plan to get pregnant. I didn't plan on this happening. I honestly really truly thought that the condom was enough protection. But that was the immaturity. That was the immaturity, and also doing something that I wasn't prepared for at such a young age. The father and I weren't together. It was pretty much sex at this point, and he was a teenager, just as I was a teenager, and he was obviously living his teenage years. But me, I had to at this point make a choice. Like I had told you in part one, how you can't do both. You have to make a choice. I made a choice here. Was the beginning of my choice, the beginning of my life as this mother. So I made the choice, no longer teenager, and I stepped up and did what I needed to do. I was in school still. I worked part-time. I actually was going to a technical school to develop some type of skill, a trade, because I knew college was not going to be in my future, and I wanted to prepare myself because I was about to have this child who was going to need me, and I was going to need to have some type of decent job to be able to support this child. With the father and I not together, he was part of the child when the child was born, but during the pregnancy, he wasn't a part. He was being his teenager. He was doing him. So I had to do things differently, and I had to ensure that this child was going to get everything that she needed, and that's what I did. I, in order to ensure this, I had to dig deep once again and really take on this role now that with my childhood and being what my childhood was, and now this single mom, my child wasn't going to experience anything that I went through. So this is how I was able to take on these responsibilities and do these things. So when I tell you that drive, that determination, and that motivation, that's what this is where it began for me. This is where it started, this journey of my life as this teenage mom. So I want you guys to feel free to give I want your comments on this topic. I want us to start this platform of discussion. Tell me your thoughts. Tell me what you think about what I went through. Ask me any questions, and also I would love you to talk about your experiences, what you went through in the course of your life, where it started as this journey for you. So subscribe to my channel. I would love to hear from you.